Well, let's go. Looks like we're live for another 10X Automotive Fridays. So it's a beautiful day here in sunny Central Florida. We are looking at how to 10X all of our actions so that we can have a successful weekend. Last couple of weeks, we've been going through this. We've been talking about all the different elements of building our process so that we can engage the customers, get deeper in the process consistently, ultimately put us in a position where we can negotiate and close more deals, sell cars for fun and profit, and have great customer satisfaction. There's a couple things that I wanted to start off with today. I was thinking about this after last week, and we've been doing a lot of stuff out of the Leading Practices Library, really been hitting a lot of the stuff. And one of the things that I was talking with some of the salespeople about was about the responsibility to be successful. And it made me think of something that Grant wrote in the 10X rule. He said that success is your duty, and this is the start of the chapter. One of the greatest turning points in my life occurred when I stopped casually waiting for success and instead started to approach it as a duty, obligation, and responsibility. I literally began to see success as an ethical issue, a duty to my family, my company, and my future, rather than as something that may or may not happen to me. That's a pretty powerful, that's a pretty telling statement. Here's what I mean. When we look out and we look at the people that are successful, most of those successful people have something in common. They all practice, right? Most of those successful people all have something in common. They have a desire to provide for their family, right? Most of those successful people all look at success not as something that they're going to get to, but something that they continually have to keep moving forward with, right? We see all the cliches. We know all the stuff that happens. We get it, right? Success, you got to keep paying attention to it. So with that said, I want to keep paying attention to the things that we're doing that are helping us the most in regards to being successful with a customer. We want to make this easy, right? There's three people in any transaction. There's the customer, the salesperson, and the manager. And guess what? If the whole process is simpler and easier for everybody involved, we're going to sell more cars. We're going to have happier customers. We're going to have happier employees. So how do we do that? Well, let's take out some of the fluff. Let's take out some of the pieces that are associated with what we do and make it easier, right? What did I say last week? I said there's 5 simple steps, right? 5 simple steps. We're going to greet the customer. We're going to build a buyer profile around their present vehicle. We're going to select and demo a new vehicle. We're going to present figures to as many customers as we possibly can. We're either going to deliver those customers or we're going to position ourselves for follow-up with that customer. That's really what we got to do to be successful. We need to be approaching it from that standpoint every single day, every single customer. I was talking to a dealer. They got 21 stores. And the dealer was telling me that he was talking to one of their employees, and it was guy was new in the car business. And he said, what's happening? What are you seeing? How's the experience been so far? And the salesperson said, well, it's kind of interesting. We just hang out a lot, right? We just hang out a lot. Well, look, if we want to be a professional, we want to be successful. When you're not engaged with the customer, you need to be practicing your skills, right? Sit down with another salesperson, role play, go through some of these things that we've been talking about. Watch some of the old videos, watch some of Grant's videos, right? Take a look at the steps that you're executing, how you can implement them and how you can be more successful. That's what it's going to take to grow your career, right? The other thing that we have to do is that we have to be committed. We have to be 100% committed to ourselves, to the dealership, to our product. I truly believe that if you are the right person and you're doing the right things ethically, and the product you're selling is a good product, and the dealership that you're working for is a good dealership and they're backing you up, then the right thing to do is to help the customer make the purchase decision so that they don't run into somebody that doesn't have the same ethics, the same morals, and is going to treat them the same way that you do, right? We know for a fact that when a customer has a purchase experience that they like, there tends to be more profit in it. There's nothing wrong with that. That's why we're all here, right? Let's move the customers through as fast as possible. Let's give them a purchase experience that they like. And let's make this thing work for all of us that are involved. Has to be easy for you, has to be easy for the customer. It's got to be easy for the managers. Managers that are watching this, I'm telling you, think about it from this end. What kind of service can I provide to my salesperson that's going to help them close that deal, right? Salesperson, when you're working with a customer, what kind of service can I provide to that customer to help them make a buying decision and make the right buying decision to purchase from me? That's the way I want you to think about it. That attitude of service, that commitment to success. That's what we need to be doing every single day. Okay, so let's go through this. Let's talk a little bit about the trade, right? We've talked about price in the negotiations. We've talked about down payment and monthly payment in the negotiations. Let's talk about the trade value in negotiations. When we talk about trade value in negotiations, one of the things that's interesting about this is that oftentimes everybody associated with this is coming at the trade from a different direction, and they have different goals and they have different ideas about what should be happening, right? I can't tell you how many times I've been into a dealership and I've heard a salesperson say something like this: well, I can't let Billy appraise the car. Billy don't like Fords. If Billy appraises the car, we ain't going to get nothing for it, right? He's already bought into the fact that his manager isn't going to give him enough for the customer's trade-in if it's a Ford, right? That actually can ruin his attitude and ruin his ability to deal with that customer. I can't tell you how many times I've heard managers say, well, that salesperson, he can't handle any trade objections, right? They've already written off the salesperson's ability to do it, right? So we've got people that are going at cross directions here to being successful. We need to believe in our people. We need to believe in our process. We need to believe in our appraisals, right? We have to have commitment to what we're doing. So when we look at this and we look at the process, remember, we talked about it earlier about creating a needs assessment, right? That's done around the customer's present vehicle, building that buyer profile so that we can collect that information. We can get deeper into the process with them, give them a tailored product presentation, show them all the features that are specific to them that they would like based on what you learned about them from their car. But there's another reason that we're doing it. If we start the appraisal process in the second step, we gather that information, we're going to save time. Number one complaint the customers have right now: it takes too long to buy a car, right? Average dealerships over 5 hours to do a transaction from start to finish. That's crazy. It's crazy. As a salesperson, we don't want that, right? We want the shorter, compacted transaction time because that allows us to sell more cars in a day, right? Customer doesn't want to be there for 5 hours. They didn't get up and go, hey, let's go to the dealership, make a friend, and hang out all day. No, that's not what anybody wants. So if we can speed up the time, it's going to be a benefit to all of us. So when you initiate the idea of appraising the car and you begin to collect the information in the second step, we're saving time as we move forward while we're building that buyer profile. That's powerful. It's going to help you a lot, especially going to help when you get to the negotiations. Second thing that we're doing when we're walking around that car is we're getting a commonality of experience with the customer. We're putting us in a position where we're looking at the car with them and we're experiencing the car with them, and we see the things about it. Now, I talk to salespeople about this all the time. There's one thing I want you to remember. They came here in this car to get rid of it. They didn't come here in the dealership with this car because they wanted to keep it. They came here because they wanted to get rid of it. They wanted to leave in a new vehicle, right? They wanted to get into a vehicle, whether it was a new to them or a brand new car, and they wanted to leave in that and leave us here with their old one. Think about that. They didn't come here because they want to keep it. They came to get out of it. So now, knowing that, look at it from that standpoint. And this is a great opportunity. You know, CarMax has been very successful for many years selling cars. There's a lot of things that factor into that. But one of the things that CarMax has figured out is that if they buy a customer's car, it's very likely the customer is going to buy from them. Because most people don't have the ability to sell a car outright without handling the negative equity that's associated with it. So if they can control the trade, guess what's happening? They're controlling the deal. They end up taking that car in on trade. So when we look at it from this standpoint, and we start working with the customer in the beginning and we initiate that idea of getting their car professionally appraised, we're getting in control of the situation by having the customer give us control. We're saving them time. We're going to get the car professionally appraised. We're going to gather that information. So now when I'm out there walking around it, right? In the old days, we were all taught different things about how to handle the car. I can remember back when I started selling cars, my manager told me, you always find one thing and you say something bad about the car, right? You look at it and you go, whew, see, the fender's been repainted. Was anybody hurt in the accident, right? We don't want to do that. I don't want to insult the car. That's not why we're here. It's not what we're trying to do. I just want to look at the car with them. So then as the business progressed, we started all doing the silent walk around. Now we didn't say anything insulting, but we certainly let them know that we saw it. We look at it and we go, And we didn't say anything, but we pointed it out to them. So look, here's the reality. That customer already knows that fender's been painted. They know. It's no surprise to them. They know. When I walk out and I look at the car, I want to be telling them, I love your car. We need your car. Got to have your car. That's what we need to be communicating to them, because we want to give the buyer hope that we can help them out of their situation, right? Remember, they came here to get rid of this car. They're disposing of this trade-in. I want them to dispose of it to me in the context of buying a new car, right? And if I start that out by slamming on their car in the first 5 minutes I'm with them, I'm not going to get anywhere. But when I walk around the car and I see that it needs tires, they know it needs tires. There's no doubt about that. When I walk around and there's a glass chip in the windshield, they've been driving the car with that glass chip. They know it. I don't have to point at it and go, oh, you got a glass chip, right? I can walk around the car, I can engage the car, and I can experience the car with them while asking my profile building questions. Hey, when'd you buy your car? What'd you pay for it? When's your next payment due? By the way, how much is it? And wow, how'd you get them so low? I can be asking them about their situation. What'd you like most about this car? What'd you like least about it? What's changed most in your life since your last purchase? What's your next vehicle need to do that this one doesn't, right? I can get those questions asked as I'm experiencing the car, capturing the information. Now, when I come inside and it's time to negotiate, right? I'm telling them, hey, love your car, gotta have your car. We need cars all the time, need cars. So now as I transition inside and we begin the negotiation experience, I have a professional appraisal. I'm gonna use third-party credibility. Every single time we engage a customer, I want you to show them something else besides you that helps you establish the value of that vehicle. You know, Kelley Blue Book, I haven't looked at it lately as far as the actual site visitors, but the last time I looked last year, they were getting something like 7 million unique site visitors a month, okay? And they were having an average of 6 or 7 page views, right? So Kelley has a name in the car business, right? Kelley Blue Book, that's what customers know, KBB. So if that's third-party credibility that you want to use Kelley. If you're comfortable using the webpage, use the webpage. But we need to show them a value from somebody that they trust, not just us. If I just walk back over and I've got a piece of paper that says $8,000 for your trade, where's the logic? Where's the validation? Where's the customer going to believe that's coming from? There's a ton of you out there that are watching this that are using vAuto or First Look or some other appraisal tool that's helping them determine the value of the vehicle, that have these sheets in them that show the different valuations, right? You can go back and show Manheim, you can show Black Book, you can show NADA, you can show whatever we need to, but we need to show them something else to show them where we came up with this. So now, as I'm engaging the customer and I'm negotiating, I want to go through the process of the negotiations and want to ask the customer to buy. Remember, hey, Mr. Customer, based on the vehicle you selected, the current market value of your vehicle, we prepared 9 payments at an average APR, 9 leases at 12,000 miles a year. All you need to do is circle the payment, sign at the bottom, get your car clean, you're ready for immediate delivery. I've asked them to buy. Now, knowing that I have, there's only 5 money questions, right? Price, trade, money down, monthly payment, or interest rate. Those are the only 5 things that they can object to. Again, professional salespeople, successful salespeople that are committed, right, to the process and to their duty to be successful, they're going to be role playing those. They know that there's only 5 ways that the customer can go, and they need to be prepared to overcome each one of those. So now let's talk about how we handle the trade. Grant's been talking about a 2-number trade for a long time. That 2-number trade starts with your third-party validation. Okay. Again, I'm just using Kelley Blue Book as an example because it's easy, right? So if you come back over and you're talking to a customer and you have a trade value on the vehicle, we want to show them 2 numbers. We want to show them what the book value is or what the market value of that vehicle is. And then we want to show them what the market value, what we're willing to pay is after the reconditioning. That's our goal with this. Market value, reconditioning, what we'll pay, okay? There's logic to this, and it helps us control the negotiation experience. I was in a store out in Houston, Texas. I was watching the salesperson. He walked back over to the customer, and he said, hey, I talked to my boss. I got great news. Great news. Say the car for $32,000, we'll give you $8,000 for your car. What would you take? That salesperson, they already were convinced in their head that that customer would not take $8,000 for the car, right? We'll give you $8,000. What would you take? That doesn't work, man. That's not the way we want to do this. We want to ask the customer to buy. We want to be confident about our number, okay? If you don't believe in it, you need to figure it out. You need to see what's happening. You need to make sure that you understand why we're giving the customer the value that we are, because we need to do it right. So now, if we're using third-party validation, and I walk back over to the customer, and I tell them, hey, Mr. Customer, we wanted to make sure we got you the fair market value, so we went to Kelley Blue Book on your car, $23,000, right? I want to show them the Kelley Blue Book. Look, they're not going to believe you if you just tell them, but if you show it to them, it's a different story. Now, here's something else that's unique. A whole lot of people already been to Kelley, okay? They've already been to Kelley. They've already seen a similar number to that. So when you show them this isn't a surprise. It's not a surprise. And you know what? We agree with Kelley. We think cleaned up and ready to go, your car should be worth $23,000. When we were walking around it outside, we saw that it needed tires and it had the chip in the windshield. It's going to cost us $1,000 to take care of that. We also do a lube oil filter and safety inspection on every single car that comes in here, and we detail the cars. That's going to cost us $500. We agree. We think cleaned up and ready to go, it'll be worth $23,000. The dealership's willing to write you a check right now for $21,500. It's an excellent value for your vehicle. Boom. Need your full legal name here. I'll get your car clean. You're ready for immediate delivery. So this presentation using the 2-number trade puts me in a position where I can logically justify my vehicle value based on third party, and then I can show them what we have to do to take care of it. This is logical. Does it need tires? Yeah. You don't write something down here. You don't tell them something unless it truly needs it. I'm not going to put tires if it's got brand new tires on it. This is what the car really needs. It needs tires. It needs to have the chip in the windshield repaired. Okay. Your managers can tell you how much the lube oil filter and safety inspection costs on average, how much a detail costs on average. These are real numbers. They're not made up. This is logical. This is the vehicle value. This is the repairs that we have to do. Lube oil filter, safety inspection, and a detail. That's what we'll write you a check for. So now let's go back to the beginning, right? I make my presentation. I say, hey, Mr. Customer, circle and sign. Give me your full legal name here at the bottom. I'll get your car cleaned and ready for immediate delivery. He says, hey, what do you give me for my car? It's a great question. Glad that you asked. We went to Kelly. Here's the Kelly webpage. Kelly says that the vehicle like yours in the condition it's in should be worth around $23,000. Guess what? We agree. We think cleaned up and ready to go, your car will be worth $23,000. When we walked around your car outside, we saw it needed tires. And we're going to have to take care of that chip in the windshield. That's going to cost us $1,000. Every vehicle that we take in on trade, we do a lube oil filter and safety inspection plus a detail. That costs us around $500. So as I said, we think that you're right, that Kelly's right, that it should be worth $23,000 cleaned up and ready to go. We'll write you a check right now for $21,500. That's an excellent value. Just need your full legal name here at the bottom. We'll get your car cleaned and ready for immediate delivery. It's logical, it's simple, it's easy. And that's the key thing. So we have to be in a position that we're not running back and forth to the desk, that we can logically justify where this number came from, and we can lay it out in front of the customer. Okay? This is as simple as it gets. There's a lot more complicated forms out there, but that is truly as simple as it gets for coming up with how we got to the vehicle value, right? That's it. It's easy. Your managers can give you that on every single trade-in. It literally takes 10 seconds, right? And we write it down and show it to the customer. I don't care if it's Manheim. I don't care if it's NADA. I don't care if it's Galves, Kelly Blue Book. It doesn't matter. Black Book. We have to have a third-party validation that we start from, then we subtract out the reconditioning. We use Kelly Blue Book because it's trusted. It owns the space in the customer's mind. I talk to dealers sometimes. They're like, well, you don't understand. Kelly doesn't work in our market. If I did that car, it's not worth that. Well, then use what you have to use. Just use something, right? They're going to believe somebody else over you. I promise you, especially when it comes to vehicle valuation. So the interesting thing about the negotiation experience on a trade is that most customers that object to the trade value, excuse me, most customers that object to the trade value, when you show them logically what's going on and where we came up with that valuation, most of those customers then roll back over to the monthly payments and they start negotiating on what really matters to them, which is how do we get this to be affordable to our monthly budget? So let's just back up a step. Again, to be very successful here using 2-number trade, you got to start with the customer's car. You have to have walked around the car with the customer. Does not work as well if you haven't done it. Can you still do it? Sure, you can do it. It's just not going to be as effective. You need to walk that car with the customer so that you have the commonality of experience. And again, not being negative. I'm not putting down their car. In fact, I'm telling them, we love your car. We got to have your car. I'm giving them hope that we can take care of this for them. They came in to dispose of the car. I want to help them. I want them to buy a new car and let me have this one. Here's something else I want you to think about. There's a lot of times when you're out there with a customer and you're looking at the car, they're going to tell you, oh, hey, I was going to get that taken care of, but little Johnny, he ran into the back of it with his bike and, scratched it up real bad. I'm going to tell him, hey, man, don't worry about it. It happens all the time. Our body shop will be able to take care of it, no problem, right? Don't make it a big deal. The reality is we're going to take care of it. We're going to let them know what that is. We're going to take care of it. So when we go through this and we put ourselves in a position, we can logically justify, deduct the reconditioning, deduct the lube oil filter and safety inspection, and show them a real number that we're willing to pay them for the car. It's a 2-number trade. Now, there's a couple of pieces to that. I'm going to hit on one piece this week, and then we'll get a little bit deeper into it next week. Here's something I want you to think about. What have I created for the floor of the negotiations? Right now, If they already went online and looked at Kelley Blue Book, which is entirely possible, right? They've already seen the 23,000. What have I done as far as the positioning there with the deduction for the tires and the windshield and the lube oil filter and safety inspection? I've put us in a position where if they objected to something, this is an easy objection for them. Now, is that important? Yeah, maybe. Because if I ask a customer, what will you take for your car? What's the answer going to be? It's going to be a lot. It's going to be more than what I want them to say. And if I'm in a position here where the customer wants to negotiate, they can look at that and say, well, that's on you. You know, you're going to be doing that. You pay for the tires. Or they'll tell you, well, I looked at tires already. I can get them done for $600, right? So what happens is you begin to engage the customer in a different conversation instead of, hey, what would it take, right, to make this deal happen? You get into a position where you're negotiating on a smaller number instead of asking them, hey, what are you going to give me, right? What are you willing to do? All right, so let's back up real quick. Simple steps, right? What are we going to do? We're going to greet the customer. We're going to build a buyer profile around the present vehicle, right? We're going to select and demo a vehicle, do a double dollar demonstration, $1 million product presentation based on the information you got from the profile. When we did that profile, we walked around the car. We saw the dents and dings. We weren't negative. Love your car, got to have your car. We need your car. I was talking to Scott earlier this week, and there was 3 clients that he talked to. They're out of inventory, right? Literally, they're out of inventory. What do they need? They got to get used cars somewhere. It needs to come out of their service drive. It needs to come from them taking them in on trades. They got to get cars, right? We need to have a focus on this. This is the single best way to drive profitability in the dealership, drive volume, is to take them in on trade. That helps everything. So we want to make sure that we stay focused on that, okay? So we do that $1 million product presentation. We transition inside. We write up as many people as we possibly can. And then we either deliver those deals or we follow up with them, right? So those are the 5 simple steps that we want to stay focused on this weekend. When we get into the negotiations, remember, logically justify your position, right? Logically justify it. You have to believe in it. You have to go back and you have to be able to logically justify it. Kelley says this, we've got to do that. We did this. We'll write you a check for that. It's an excellent value, and it is. It's what we're willing to pay them. So think about that. Let's do everything that we can to have an excellent week. Remember, Automotive Fridays every week at 2 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to do a quick 20, 25 minutes and talk about things that you can do to be successful this weekend. We've got 2 unique offers still up there, CardoneInstitute.com. If you go to CardoneInstitute.com, there's a lot of different things on there in regards to our next management training event, which I think is in July. July? Yes, I got a yes. July is our next management training event down here in Orlando, Florida. And then 10xyourprofits.com. Any questions that you've got, hit us up at info@cardonegroup.com. Hit us up on the website, send us a chat, send us a message. And Lindsay told me today that anybody that shares this video in between now and Monday, she's going to pull from a hat and send out some random prizes for people that share this video. So share the video, tag us, thecardonegroup.com. You can tag us anywhere in any of the socials, but if you share this video and you tag us, we'll certainly take care of you and send you something. So I appreciate you. I'll see you next week. Automotive Fridays, 2 p.m. Eastern, CardoneInstitute.com, 10xyourprofits.com. Thank you. You guys have a great weekend.